The Nightcap Chat Podcast. Your home for pop culture related nonsense. Only on the Nightcap Chat Network. Grab your nightcap and settle in. Here are your hosts.
And welcome back to Nightcap Chat, the pop culture podcast. Today we are breaking down the Pokemon Scarlet and Violet trailer number 2 and giving our predictions for the upcoming games. I'm Blade O'Neill.
I'm Lance O'Neill.
And of course, before we dive into it, I just want to thank everyone for taking the time to listen, like, and share, and subscribe to Nightcap Chat. Without you guys, we wouldn't be here. Just me and Lance today. Ken and Steve are out. So we're going to bring you a little Pokemon action. I'm a little sad that they're not here because we all went to Phoenix Fan Fusion over Memorial Day weekend.
Too much fun at the Phoenix Fan Fusion with all the fans, you know?
They had too much fun. And speaking of fans, we got to meet a listener. Her name was Kim. She came over to Steve and Ken's panel about movie going. And I got to talk to her for a few minutes, and we even all got to have dinner at the convention. Went down to the food court, and we talked. And man, it was so cool hearing some of the things because she brought up stuff that I don't even remember recording. I don't know if it's because I don't listen to Nightcap Chat. I just record it. You know, I don't go back and listen to it. But my favorite thing was, I guess we said Liam Neeson is Marlon is the Liam Neeson in Finding Nemo. And that sounds like something one of us would say, especially the Liam Neeson part. It was really cool. It was really cool to meet her and her husband, and her 2 kids were there. It was great to meet everybody. And we're gonna see if we can get her top 10 or top 5 list and maybe break that down. I think that would be fun.
That'd be fun. I'd be so excited for that.
So Kim, if you listen to us right now, email us at nightcapchat@gmail.com. Email us that list and we'll go through it. But yeah, let's we're gonna get into some Pokemon action here. Pokemon Scarlet and Violet teaser number 2, or trailer number 2, I should say. Trailer is dropped, and we got a release date, November 18th. It's this year. Nobody's surprised. But it's looking good. Nothing crazy yet, right?
I love it. I mean, obviously, it could be terrible still. I mean, let's not kid ourselves, but they really haven't made a terrible one yet. All of them have been pretty good. You know, sure, sometimes you're like, oh, a little disappointing, but this one I am super excited for. I think they knocked it out of the park with the starters, potentially. I think there's obviously a little room for, you know, you only see the starting 3 and you don't see the evolutions after that. It could just go south on all of them. But the grass one might be my favorite, and I almost always hate the grass starters. Let's be honest.
Yes.
Outside of like Chikorita or something, the grass ones are pretty weak.
Chikorita has got to be the best.
Yeah, that's the first one that came to my mind. I think Chikorita's up there. Bulbasaur is pretty solid, but I mean, comparatively to Charmander and Squirtle, it's just like not even close. We're being
Bulbasaur fans.
Sorry, Bulbasaur fans. I love the little fire crocodile. I think he's pretty awesome. And the duck's pretty cool.
Coco.
I think there's potential. Like he is one of the ones that it could go really good or really bad. Crocodile, I think is probably going to be might be the safe bet. And then I think the highest ceiling is going to be the leaf.
Yeah, and it's all over the internet. Everyone wants the grass. Oh my gosh, what's his name? It's Spit, whatever. Everyone wants the grass cat to stay on all fours. We do not want it to become a biped, and I really agree with that because look at Litten. Litten was like not the coolest, but a really cool, unique starter. It wasn't like a dragon, because I mean, how many fire dragons are there? Which is cool. Don't get me wrong, but we got a fire cat, something a little different outside the box, and same thing here. with Sprigatito. Sprigatito?
I'm gonna be honest, if you told me the name, I probably wouldn't even know.
Sprigatito, right? Sprigatito. Yes, I got it. Sprigatito. Everyone wants Sprigatito to stay on all fours, and I completely agree. So Pokemon Company, GameStop, Game Freak, please, let's do it. If you already designed him,
Redo it.
to be a biped, go back.
Yep,
go back.
redo it.
Switch it. It's not too late. It's not too late. You have until November.
Because Litten was one of the most biggest disappointments ever. And I remember playing that game. I refused to look at the evolutions. And
I usually do too.
And when he evolved, I was so upset. It was unreal. Like, I wanted to just release him. It was so upset. Like, it was like, what is this nonsense? It was like the
downside of waiting.
Yeah, it was terrible. I was so upset. Because Litten, to me, is one of the best beginning evolutions.
Litten is really cool, and what's probably even more upsetting about that is when the starters are competitive. Because right now in the video game championships, people have been using the final form of Litten.
It's sad we can't even think of its name. That's how much I hate it.
It's escaping me. Litten final evolution. I consider myself a huge Pokemon fan, and I can't think of its name. Not Torracat. Torracat evolves into, yes, drum roll please. which I can do. Incineroar. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yep. Only took us
that's pretty terrible.
5 minutes to download. Yep. But anyway, yes, it was upsetting that he got on the two legs there. The water starter's a duck. Quaxley, I think it is. I'm fine with that. Just the water starters never. We didn't get a cat. Like, I know you probably don't want to do a water cat because cats usually don't like water, but we've only had like amphibious animals and amphibious birds up until this point, because you had Squirtle, Totodile, Piplup, which was the bird, the seal, the otter.
I think you've had one. I mean, you've had Vaporeon, basically.
Vaporeon? That's not a starter.
No, but I'm just saying, like, as far as like a water in general. I'm trying to think of some type of like cat thing.
Yeah.
It's closer to a dog.
It would have been cool to see something outside the box, because even if Fuecoco, I think it was the fire starter, it's a crocodile. I mean, it's technically, would have been more easily associated with a water Pokemon. So hopefully it becomes like a long, cool reptile or a dragon or something.
Yeah, at first I thought it was like a mini T-Rex thing. And then I realized that, oh yeah, it's just a crocodile. I don't know if I want like a big, long crocodile thing. Like, I don't know.
Or a snake.
I really don't. I don't like snakes. I don't think they're cool. I think they're lame.
Oh, I like snakes.
I think they're so lame. I don't want it. I'm not even a big reptile person. I don't care for reptiles at all. But if it turns into some kind of dragon-like thing, I might be okay with it. I know like crocodile is kind of similar to a dragon, but I don't know. I want it to be something kind of.
What if he turns into a fire apple crocodile?
I don't know what you're even trying to say. What is a fire apple crocodile? What does that even
I don't
mean?
know. I'm just saying he kind of looks like an apple.
So instead of like a long, skinny, almost crocodile, it's like a circle for a crocodile? Is that what you're trying to tell me? It's like a crocodile, but if you put him in like an apple suit. Is that what you're trying to say?
An apple crocodile. I don't know. We had an apple. We had Flapple last gen.
I hate
the apple pie Pokemon.
That's pretty stupid.
That was dumb.
I mean, I don't know. That now that you say that, now that makes me worried, because like there's apple on it. What if he just turns into an apple? What if they just like forget that? He's not even a crocodile. He's just an apple now. He's just an apple that shoots fire.
Yeah, I don't think that'll happen. It just seems a little random. But I'm just saying he just kind of looks like an apple. So hopefully what looks like the apple stem just kind of becomes, sharp spikes down his back or something, you know.
It's kind of weird that they picked an apple too, considering there's like a blood orange and a grape for the signs for the. So where does like the apple come into play is kind of weird, or they're just trying to push fruits and be like healthy. Like, is that like what is?
It's really weird. I didn't notice that in the first viewing. So if you guys are wondering what we're talking about, 11 seconds in the trailer, they show what seems to be the emblems or the shields of the two schools, and the one that's apparently Scarlet version, there's an orange, and the Violet version is grapes, which is really weird for like a school crest. So do you think it's anything beyond a school crest? Is there going to be any significance to the story? Are they real?
What do you mean, are they real?
Did they replace it? Like, did they just make this for the trailer and it's actually like the legendaries? You know,
why
but
they
showed the
show
legendaries, so yeah.
I think that maybe they are linked to the legendaries, because I think the legendaries are more of the color of the fruits that they're talking about than they are Scarlet and Violet. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Because if you look at I'm looking at the picture of it right now at 11 seconds. The grape thing is like closer to the same exact color of that legendary Pokemon, and that orange, because it's not Scarlet, that's just an orange color. That's not even, there's no red about that. And that's a lot closer to the legendary. He was like, I'm gonna go skip up to it. Wasn't he more orange than he is red?
No, the legendary is
he's orangey.
He's red. No, he's red.
I don't know, I'm looking at him right now. He's kinda actually, he's blood orangey. So maybe it's a blood orange, like we were saying.
Yeah. No, I think he's like red.
I know, it could be the screen I'm looking at, because I'm on the bad screen.
So since you're looking at it, we did get a look at the title legendaries for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. And so right off the bat, it's apparent for Violet, that dragon Pokemon is sort of electric-y, metallic-y looking, but he has like little jet feet things. So he's almost like a jet, you can fly. So if you then look at the Scarlet one, it almost appears like he has like a wheel in his chest, and like the bottom part of his tail, like between his legs, could also be a wheel. Do you think they're going to have different forms, or just you can somehow ride them?
Like one's a motorcycle and one's
a motorcycle
airplane?
And one is a jet. Yep.
I think that's kind of stupid, my honest opinion.
Okay. It's stupid, but do you think I'm right?
That you're gonna be able to ride them in the game,
or at least there's some kind of form with like his jet form and his motorcycle form.
No.
No. Let's go. No, I'm going. Yes, there's going to be something with the jet, and these are wheels.
I just feel like that would be super lame.
What if they fuse together and they make like a?
No.
It's gonna happen.
No. They make what?
Past and present. Jet motorcycle.
A jet motorcycle. What's the point of having the wheels when you can just fly? Like, I just don't understand that.
Because you need landing gears.
Well, then why would he just be? That doesn't make. He can just fly. What does he need landing gears for? What? So he's a Pokemon that can fly, but he just can't land. That's a pretty. Yep. That's a big hole in your evolution there.
Well, Spoink can't stop bouncing.
Oh, come on. That's nonsense, because I'm pretty sure in like the Pokemon TV show, like he like fell over and like he didn't just die. Like he wasn't bouncing.
Well, they must have picked him up before he went into cardiac arrest,
I guess.
Yep.
I don't know.
Don't you mess with poor little Spoink.
I think maybe they will say that the ideas of, jet engines and cars came from these Pokemon, and that they're the reasons today why we have the technology we have. But I don't know if they're going to be like, oh, it's a transformer Pokemon that turns into a vehicle. Like, that kind of just sounds silly. Like, that's just lame. And I don't think I don't think it's like original at all. I think it's kind of corny, and especially since the other one to me doesn't seem like he's like the Violet one. He seems like he's going to be like a metal type. Like, he looks like he's like electronic almost. Whereas the other one kind of seems like he's a lizard that's been impaled by a rubber tire. If that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like, he doesn't look like that he's going to turn into like a car. He just looks like he's a reptile. Like, he looks like he has flesh. The other one looks like he might have some flesh, but he's mainly a cyborg almost kind of a thing.
Yeah. So what types do you think they're going to be?
I think Dragon and Steel for... no. I know we had this conversation off air. I think maybe the Violet one's going to be Psychic and Steel.
Okay.
And the other one, I think, is going to be... Man. I think it's going to be like Dragon and... Ground? Because of the...
No fire?
I don't know. I was thinking Dragon and Fire, Dragon and Ground, because the only reason why I'm saying Ground is because of the thing in his chest and how it looks like it almost looks, and it has like spikes on it. Like, it almost seems like something that should move. And I feel like that would make so much sense for like a ground type to dig into the dirt. You know what I mean? Like, something that could really like get in there. And it doesn't say anything about a dragon. I feel like this, like his head and his spine look like very dragony, and his long tail and everything. But then, his chest has that like explosion, that like bam looking thing on the wheel. It almost like says fire to me too. You know what I mean? You see what I'm saying? So,
Yeah,
but I think I think he's going to be Dragon and Ground, which I hope not. I hope he's Fire and Dragon or Psychic or
anything but ground.
Anything but ground. I don't like ground types. They're lame.
Could be ground. I could see Dragon Ground. That might be interesting contrast to Steel.
I'm not sure how that would play out as far as like weaknesses. I'm gonna look it up.
What if the Violet one is Steel Electric?
Steel Electric. I could see that. He looks very electric.
Because
that's for sure.
Or how about Electric and Fairy? Or I'm sorry, how about Steel Fairy?
Steel Fairy.
Yep.
That'd be interesting.
Fairy super effective against Dragon if the other one's Dragon.
But it
where's
would
Ground
do
versus
nothing to
Steel?
Fire.
What?
Fire would.
What'd you say?
Fire would be like. It would have no shot against. Now here's here's something though. If, I mean, in the past, right, has the two main legendaries always been like opposite types?
No. Like Reshiram and Zekrom in Black and White, they're both dragons. One was Dragon Electric, one was Dragon Fire.
Yeah, so it has nothing to do with anything. Okay.
No, but they were both dragons.
Because the only thing I was thinking, especially with, well, almost like that, because you said dragon electric, dragon fire. I feel like if they picked one to be like an electric type, then the other one would be also like a fire, like you said, like a fire, because I don't know, I just feel like if you pick one of like the four of like water, fire, electric, grass, then the other one almost has to be one of those other four. And then you pick just like, I don't know, to me that's just kind of makes sense in my head. But if you picked him, well, like we said before, if you pick dragon and steel, is that what I said? Steel and dragon?
For the Scarlet guy?
Yeah.
No, you said ground dragon.
I'm sorry, I meant for the violet guy. What did I say?
Oh, steel psychic.
Oh, steel psychic. Yeah, it would be interesting to see how well it's going to work out with it having to fight things like, although poison, I guess poison it would just be neutral against.
Mm-hmm.
It would destroy fighting types. Oh no, it would be neutral against fighting. Or what am I? No, it would be strong against fighting. It would basically just be weak against other psychic types.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm getting confused at looking at these charts. Why are these charts so hard to like understand sometimes?
Yeah, and there's a million different ones.
Some of them are wrong too.
Well, that's no good. Yeah, nothing has been revealed as far as their types, so it remains to be seen. But it'll be interesting to see if either one gets a dragon, especially since they look so dragony. I don't know if I hope or don't hope, and I think I'm just good with kind of whatever, within reason.
Now, if I just want to throw, do you think that do you think we're going to get a new stage in EVs?
Mm.
And two, do you think that the types of these legendaries are going to have anything to do with the types of EVs we get?
I would say if it has anything to do with the type of EV, it's just a coincidence. But I do think we're due for an evolution, because obviously they were introduced in Gen 1. Gen 2 had Umbreon and Espeon. Gen 3, nothing. Gen 4, Leafeon and Glaceon. Gen 5, nothing. And then I think Gen 6 introduced Sylveon, right?
Yes.
Pretty sure. But then Gen 7 and 8, nothing.
I think we're due for two. Personally.
Yeah.
And I personally would love to see a dragon type out of one of them. I think a dragon Eevee would be like the coolest thing. And I wouldn't mind sorry, I'm hiccuping. I guess Steel wouldn't be too bad.
Steel would be cool. I think we're due for something more basic, like rock or ground.
Ugh, I just hate ground.
Just something
it's
very
just
simple.
So lame.
What are you gonna do? Save that for the end?
Yeah.
No, we had fairy. Now we got to go back, because we had the the water, fire, and leaf. The types of the 3 starters. Those were all spread out. We have psychic, we have dark, but no ghost. We have fairy, but no dragon. But we do have ice, and ice is kind of sort of part of that little set there to an extent. But I mean, dark and fairy, one is super effective against the other two. But where's rock and ground? What if it's just rock and ground?
That would be super lame.
No, it's just disappointing.
Yeah. Why would you? I don't think it's just like the same thing, almost.
Then I think we do rock or ground. Probably ground. I think my vote would be. I could see it being ground and poison.
I really, poison, ground and poison.
Yep.
No.
Yep.
I think dragon. I wouldn't mind dragon poison.
I feel like you got to save dragon for last now.
Why? You still don't have.
Here's
steel.
the thing. So
I think steel actually
you
makes the most sense because I think both of these legendaries can be steel, and I think it might make more sense with the whatever they're going to be pushing the storyline, because it seems like it's going to have something to do with maybe vehicles or some kind of like they helped create civilization or something crazy, and I feel like it might make a lot more sense to be like, oh, well, this is where the first steel Eevee comes from, you know, from these steel-looking Pokemon.
What about Ghost?
I think that's almost kind of a dark thing because I feel like even in recent history, like we've been getting ghost types and it's almost just been like the dead version of the Pokemon. I feel like you could do a ghost type Eevee and not do a ghost evolution because I feel like you'd almost have to kill the Eevee to make it a ghost type. Does that make sense? Because usually the ghost types are dead Pokemon,
it's
right?
Like it's
kind of, sort of, right? They're not really. They're like, oh, they're ghosts.
It's not very clear. There's some really dark Pokedex entries because some of them are like, you know, the like kids who got lost in the forest and now they became a Phantump or whatever, and it's like that was like, whoa, so it's like the spirit.
So to me, if they were going to do a ghost type evolution, it would be a ghost Eevee, kind of like they did with Corsola. Like they did like the ghost Corsola, the dead Corsola,
Cursula.
They would do something like that. I feel like Cursey Eevee, you know what I mean, or whatever. But I mean, I don't know if I'd want to do because then I don't know. Can you evolve it after that, or is it just that's what it is? Like you caught it, it can't evolve, and that's it. But it's pretty strong because it's a ghost type, I guess. I don't know.
Why can't it just be like an Eevee but with very like ethereal like things?
Like instead of its like fur, it's just like clouds almost.
Yeah, like or like instead of like Sylveon's like ribbons, you know, it's just like, you know, smoke.
Yeah, that'd be
or
pretty
just
cool.
Like ghost magic, you know.
I mean, maybe they can incorporate it, you know, similar to like do the opposite you do for a Sylveon, maybe. Instead of like, oh well, you know, you evolve like we did with I think they did the same thing I think with Umbreon and Espeon, like, oh, if you evolve this, do the same thing for Sylveon, but you do it at night, you'll get a ghost Sylveon. Like if you end up evolving it at night.
How about Spirion?
Ooh.
Like
Spirits, yeah, I got it.
Spirion. Yeah, Spirion. There you go. You heard it here first. I called the ghost Eevee's name in 2022.
It's just gonna be Ghosteon.
So dumb. You know, for a little bit there, instead of Glaceon, I couldn't help but say Iceon.
Yeah.
Because like it was like Iceon. Like, no, that's not right. And I know it's stupid, but I feel like that makes more sense because you had Leafeon, which was just so leaf, right. You know, and then you took it a step further with Glaceon, like glacier.
They haven't missed on a single evolution, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yep.
The worst one to me is Jolteon.
Yep.
And it's not even close.
Yep. Nope, I completely agree. And even then, what else are you gonna do?
Right. No, it's
and I don't care about electric types anyway.
Yeah, exactly. But like, yeah, I don't know if they could have done better, but it's the weakest of the 7 or 8, whatever it is.
Yep, for sure. So then, do you think evolutions there needs to be one of every type?
Yes. I don't think you should. Okay. I don't think you can do as many as you've done and not just complete it already.
Follow-up question. Should there then be a normal type evolution?
No, Eevee is the normal type.
No. Eevee is the normal type.
Right? That makes sense to me. Like Eevee's the normal type.
I don't know.
Evolve
I could see it both ways.
Just like EV2, like it just, just
Evian. I just figured it out. Evian.
give her a moonstone, turn her, just have a regular evolution. It's just, to me, kind of, I don't know.
I don't know. It might be interesting because if you have them all, like from a competitive standpoint, if just the first form is the normal one, like it can't compete in theory with the rest of them.
Compete, though? Or any of them competitive Pokemon anyway?
I don't know.
Which I honestly feel
But
like
I'm just-
Eevee should be a more competitive. Like the evolutions, I would love to see them to be a little more powerful.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
I've personally
And I
done
think-
playthroughs of Pokemon with just evolutions.
Oh my gosh.
It's a blast.
Yeah. I think would be cool is if the dragon evolution, if they ever do one, is like bigger than the rest of them.
Like longer or just like tall, like just huge.
Just twice the size.
Oh,
period.
okay. Yeah, I wouldn't.
Not too big, but just twice the size.
I wouldn't have a problem with that.
I think that would be really
or just
cool.
really long, like a long tail and just longer body. Yeah.
Just gigantic. I would just like to see it gigantic. Just one, because it'd be kind of cool to do like from like an art standpoint to have like the big dragon one
Around all of them.
with all of the other medium ones and then just a little Eevee. I don't know. I think that could be cool. Let's see how many of these predictions come true here.
We're going to get all of them right.
So we're officially predicting 2 evolutions for Scarlet and Violet.
Who knows? Maybe they'll make us wrong and there'll be 3. I don't think so. I think they haven't done that since the first generation. I think that's, even though we haven't had one in a while, I don't think that they would do that.
That's interesting because I feel like Scarlet and Violet, it's very close to Red and Blue.
Yeah.
So and this is the first time it's like an actual open world Pokemon game.
Right.
And from what we understand, I think like you can do the gyms in your order because it's open world. So you're not tethered to, just, whatever the rails tell you to do. It's interesting. So maybe because it's a soft, not a reboot, but like a new
Beginning?
fresh start, a new beginning going forward. Maybe we will get 3 evolutions just for the symbolism of the Kanto region.
I would be thrilled.
Okay, then if it's 3,
There's one I just realized that we haven't even mentioned.
what?
Flying.
Flying? Bug?
No, flying. I think flying would be cool. An Eevee with
And they
wings.
didn't do bug either.
Bug, I feel like would be really like I do still stand with they have to do one of everyone, but Bug would be really weird. I feel like
It's going to have like bug eyes.
yeah, I don't want them to do that. It's just weird.
It'll be the most disturbing
It'll
one.
be the worst one for sure.
And I guarantee you it's going to end up being competitive and then everyone will have to use it.
Yeah,
And they'll be disappointed.
it'll have like a bee stinger on its butt instead of a tail. It'll be awful.
So I'm looking at the type chart, see if there's a good like trio we're missing. Man, I don't know.
I think poison, bug, dragon are similar because poison and bug tend to go together, and I feel like dragon and bug, some of the like dragons are bug looking. You know what I mean?
How about
Or you're gonna say rock, ground, and steel, and I'm gonna hit you
no? Well,
because those 3
Well.
do go together very well.
they really go together, actually. And yeah, I think that's it. Actually, that's not what I was gonna say, but that's that might be it from this region because I know this has nothing to do with it, but you have the truffle sniffing pig, Lechonk.
Like chunk.
I don't know.
Yeah.
We're already doing stuff in the ground, so maybe ground, rock, and steel. They're all very ground-based things here. So we'll get the ground-based evolutions, ground, rock, and steel. then the boring ones are out of the way, right? Because then from there, it's whether or not you're doing normal, whether or not you're doing fighting, flying, poison, bug, ghost.
Oh yeah, fighting, man, that would be a cool evolution. Just an Eevee that's gonna punch you in the face. That's great.
Its tail has a hand that's a fist.
That's kind of disturbing, but
okay, would that evolution be a biped?
oh,
Or does that like kind of suck?
I feel like you can't do that because they're all on fours. You can't just all of a sudden, because even if you do the dragon, the dragon needs to be on all fours. Like, you're not having a dragon standing.
Yes. Yeah.
So no, I'm trying to think of a fighting type that is on all fours. There's that octopus thing, right? Isn't
Clobopus?
Yeah. Isn't he a fighting? I mean, he's kind of like on all 8, right? He's on 8 legs.
That's fair. But I think isn't he a fighting water type or something?
I think so, yeah.
List of fighting type Pokemon. I want to say there is. Let's see here real quick. Virizion, Cobalion, Terrakion. So they're all those 3 legendaries are all on all fours.
And there you go.
Keldeo. So yeah, it happens. Mine shows kind of half and half. So yeah, it has happened. So
I just, it's almost like you take an Eevee, you put a like a sweatband around its head, and you probably call it a day. I'm like, I don't know. What do you do? What do you make it look like? You make him jacked.
Make it like jacked.
You give Eevee traps,
like a big chest and big donkey kicking legs. Like, I'm gonna kick your teeth out.
That could be
Puncheon.
What if they make it? You can
Kickeon?
get 2. You can get Puncheon or Kickeon.
No, I just want one. Because that's not fair. Because then there should be 2. Yeah, no, it's gotta be one.
What if the fighting type grows like a horn and it's like a unicorn?
Impaleon. I don't know. Now that I'm thinking about these and having one of each, I think I would want a normal evolution.
I just don't get what you would do with it. The normal type just Pokemon are boring as it is. Like, you don't have anything special. Like, it's just lame. So then what do you do with Eevee that starts off lame? Even though Eevee to me is one of the cutest, coolest Pokemon. Like, how do you like, there's no, like, I just don't see how there's a step up. Like, it's just, I don't know.
I don't know either.
And it kind of, I don't know. I just don't like it.
Okay, you know what? I take it back because they sort of made Eevee on par by giving him the Dynamax or Gigantamax version. So, like, that's the OP Eevee.
Well, the Eevee in the new Pokemon show, I don't know if this is, like, going to be, like, what they're trying to do with the Eevee, but they made it that, like, the Eevee for the, I don't know if you've seen it, but, like, the Eevee's, like, having trouble, like, they keep giving him stones and he won't evolve. Right? So
yeah, that's
what?
Well, that's based on the Let's Go Eevee game.
Yeah. Okay. So, like, they're going around, right? And the Eevee's like, so, like, gets to meet, like, every evolution. Like, one episode they meet, Umbreon, Espeon, whatever. But, like, as it's meeting it, it's doing the moves of the Vaporeon. It does the moves of the Espeon. Like, as it sees it, it goes, oh, and then it tries it out. And then, so I don't know if that's something that they're like, well, you can keep Eevee and it can know any of the moves, but it's not as good. You know what I mean? I don't know if that's where they're going to try to push it. But I thought that was kind of interesting. So maybe that's what they're going to do instead of having, like, just a normal Eevee, like, evolution.
Doesn't it just turn out to be a Gigantamax Eevee or something?
I don't know. I didn't watch it's a new thing on Netflix. I don't know.
Yeah. Interesting. So, also in this open world, you can play with up to 4 people in certain areas, which is pretty cool. Like, live, not like in Sword and Shield, how you can just kind of see your friend who's online's avatar standing over there when you're in the wild area. You can actually run around and adventure together. which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Thoughts on that?
It's pretty awesome. The only negative thing I will say is this is taken way too long for them to do this. It's 2022. We should be able to play with each other. I mean,
yeah.
I know Nintendo's really bad at online multiplayers, and even having a group chat's hard for them, but it's a breath of fresh air, and I think it could add some more I don't know the word. I'm gonna want to play it more if I'm gonna play it with people. I don't really like playing too much, solo games. I kind of get bored quickly if I'm playing by myself. So I like the dynamic of being able to. I'm assuming it's just gonna be in like you said, wild areas, right?
They said in certain areas, so I'm assuming it's like a main part of the map or something.
Which is fine, and if we can catch Pokemon together, that'd be kind of cool, I guess.
But what if you find a shiny? Do you fight over it?
Oh,
you know what I mean? Or are you all able to capture it if you see what I'm saying?
Well, I guess it just depends on.
Do you see shinies in Overworld, or does it roll after you?
Yeah, I don't.
Are we
both seeing? Are we going to both be seeing the same things? I like that because that would mean I have to host the game or you host the game. Unless there's just a dedicated area that's just an online area.
I guess we'll see. So I hope they solved the fighting over shinies thing, because it would really suck if you're with 4 people and there's a shiny and you all want it. I hope it doesn't. In that case, I hope there's no overworld shinies and it rolls for the shiny after you encounter it then.
But then, so you're saying you capture it and then you're like, oh, it's shiny.
No. Like, because you know how you see it, the Pokemon in the overworld, but you don't do the battle until you like run into it.
Uh-huh.
Right now in like Sword and Shield, in the overworld, you don't know what Pokemon's shiny. You have to run into them and then start the battle, and then it'll sparkle.
Gotcha.
And you'll see if it's shiny or not. So you'll probably have to just roll for a shiny during encounter.
I'd rather see it.
That's probably the only way.
Yeah, I guess maybe it has to be the only way.
I'd rather see it too, but they haven't done it in a main series game yet. You've only seen overworld shinies in Let's Go Eevee and Pikachu and in Arceus.
Okay, so my only argument is if there's a shiny, shinies are rare as it is. If there's a shiny and we happen to both be playing, we both encounter a shiny, let us both catch it. But only have it be for shinies. Just program it that way. It's so rare as it is.
They're not going to do it.
It's so rare as it is. Why not?
I'm worried that.
What is it going to do? Kill the market? There's, it doesn't make sense. Just, it's a game. There's 900 plus Pokemon. If we both catch a shiny, it'll be okay. We're probably not going to catch 900 shinies.
That's true, but they're not going to do it. We're going to be lucky if we can do more than run around together, capture Pokemon, battle, and trade.
Which to me is kind of ridiculous. I'm not gonna lie. They're taking way too long to incorporate a multiplayer or a co-op for Pokemon games.
They barely did it in the last one,
and they're doing it on
purpose.
I know that they're doing it because they're like, but this game, it's not just new Pokemon that we added. We added this new feature where it's like you can play with your friends a little bit more, and then it's a little bit more, and then it's a little bit, and then they're just gonna keep doing it until they actually give you everything that you want.
I don't want the game to change too much. I mean, like, new, fresh things are good, but I want the main series games to stay the main series game. It's like we already saw sneaking up to Smoliv, which, by the way, this Smoliv, he's a little olive Pokemon. This is already one of my new favorite Pokemon. Like, I love olives. It's one of my top 3 or 4 foods of all time. And he's just a little olive. He's awesome. I love him. I'm going to get him tattooed.
Oh my gosh, you're crazy. I have no problem with him. I like him. But I do think
I love him.
They it looks like somebody tried making somebody was like maybe a little inebriated and they were like, hey, can you do me a favor? Do you know the Pokemon Badoo? Can you just draw him from your memory? And then that's what they came up with. And they're like, no, it's an olive Pokemon now. That's what I feel like they did with it.
There's plenty of Pokemon that are like
Similar.
just the little round ones like that. And we already saw that there's this generation's Pikachu clone.
So I know
there.
you're super excited about the olive Pokemon. So I have a question and I did some like Googling before I even asked this question. So what are your hopes? Do you hope that there's only one evolution for him, so he only goes up to like one thing, or you hope there's two?
I think he's what I hope and what I think he's gonna get two, because he's such a small little thing. You look at things like Badoo and all those little guys, they're so little, they're like seeds. He's definitely gonna have two.
Okay.
I would bet money on
And
that.
do you think he's going to be changing from like different olives to other olives and just getting bigger? Or is it going to be like a huge tree?
Yes.
Because, and I looked
be
up
Kalamatri.
and I looked up like olive trees before I even did this. It could be like a skin. You think it's gonna be like a skinny olive, or do you think it's gonna be like there's some massive like knotty, cool and like full leaved olive trees that look so cool that I personally, if he was like that, if he looked like the big olive trees, I'd be 110% for that.
I hope that's what it is. I hope he's just a giant olive tree. He's a big boy now, and he's got all the olives, and he's gonna wrap his branches around you and choke you out.
This got really weird real quick, but yeah.
This could easily be my favorite grass type Pokemon.
Is it confirmed
if it
he's
goes
grass
right?
type?
He's a plant.
I know,
He's a plant.
but you never know.
That's a good question. Smoliv.
Like they're not gonna make him ground, right?
Oh, he's a grass normal.
Normal. That's interesting. I guess he could always lose it, right? There's been evolutions where
Yes,
they lose.
definitely.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, definitely.
I feel like if he turned into a tree, he'd get rock type. Because I feel like that's kind of
Because their pits are really hard.
that makes sense. That actually makes more sense. He should be a rock type. Why they
What
make
if
him
he-
normal? Should be rocking.
What if
grass.
he becomes a spicy olive and he gets fire typing? He's like a fire olive tree.
But aren't spicy olives spicy because like people made them spicy, not that there's spicy olives that exist?
Well, maybe there's an evolution item that makes him spicy.
Like if you evolve him and he's holding like sriracha,
curry. Yeah. Yeah, why not?
What if he becomes a fighting type? What if he's just like a tree and he's just gonna punch you with his olives? He has olives for fists.
The fighting olive Pokemon. It's kind of weird. What if there's just a huge twist and he just turns into a martini and like he's a grass fairy and it's just really weird.
So when you think of Martinez, you think if he's got to be fairy, alcohol. If you're alcohol, you're a fairy type now.
I guess I came to fairy because there's a lot of weird fairy types, like the thing of keys. Klefki,
Yeah.
like he's just keys. There's the cupcake. It's a fairy. Like all these weird things. So I thought if there was a martini Pokemon, like it would just be a fairy
Fair
type.
enough. Yeah, that's the fairy or psychic, maybe. Yeah.
Psychic would be cool. And then Inteleon comes along because he looks like James Bond and just drinks the Smoliv.
You're going back into the two Pokemon turn into one thing again, right?
Yes.
This is because this is Power Rangers.
Hey, it's happened before. It's happened twice now, actually. Zekrom and Reshiram can like fuse together with like Kyurem, kind of. And then also Calyrex gets on his weird horse.
Yeah, but those are stupid.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong, they should stop.
Yeah, they need to stop.
But I'm just saying it's happened.
It's an abomination.
Yeah.
I don't like it at all.
This is a Digimon.
Yes, no. I don't like it at all.
So, any other predictions for Scarlet and Violet? For the record.
Any other predictions? I don't have a prediction, but I do have a question for you.
Why are the two professors so sexy?
Let's get into that, because that's not what the question was, but let's get into that. Why are not only the professors, why are a lot of, because even the first chick that you battle, like they're pushing like these highly attractive pixels. I don't know what to call it, because I'm looking at pixels and I'm saying they're attractive. Why are these pixels so attractive? Like, why are these people?
It's just a region of sexy people.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome, not gonna lie. Or is it just Spain? Because it's supposed to take place in Spain. Is it just like, oh yes, we're in Spain, all the sexy people are in Spain?
A lot of good-looking
Spaniards. I mean, yeah, I can agree with
Well.
that. So maybe that's what it is.
Hey, and how about the Violet professor? He kind of has a familiar haircut and beard.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes,
right?
I agree.
So I'm definitely going to be cosplaying this professor. I think I have a lab coat, so I just got to get that bodysuit, and I'm set. I'm totally gonna cosplay him.
Yeah, he's pretty cool, and the chick, she's awesome.
Yep.
Like, this is definitely the best professor. I had never cared about the professors until this game. You know what I mean? Like, these professors are awesome. The other games I've been like, whatever. Okay, yeah, he's named after a tree. Got it. I don't even know the names of them, and I love them. What are their names? I'm gonna have to look.
They announced their names.
They say it in the trailer.
Yeah. Pokemon Scarlet.
Her name is Sada.
Violet.
His name is Turo. Are these trees? Are these types of wood? Or is this supposed to be like solder? Like like, what is Sada? Is that the type of wood? Am I missing something?
I thought their names were different.
It says, hi,
so
my name is Professor
here.
Turo, and my name is Professor Sada. Maybe I'm saying it wrong. Sada? From Boston, you say Sada?
But I know what you're saying. Professor Sycamore was all right. He was the first sexy professor. But nobody has been really as interesting as Professor Oak.
No, and he's goated. He's the goat.
Yeah. And he made me like the professors. But yeah, I know what you mean.
If it wasn't for him, I couldn't care less about all the other professors. I'm not going to lie. If Oak wasn't amazing, all the other ones would be just useless until these ones.
Yeah.
Did you look up...
Sada tree is suggested.
Sada tree is a thing? What kind of tree is it? I wonder if that's going to be the olive... What is it?
Sada Bahar is the scientific name of the flowering periwinkle, which is violet.
Oh. So the other one's going to have to do with the scarlet, right? So is it a...
I think so. So, here's something more interesting. Sada and Turo are based off the Spanish words for past and future.
Oh, that's why he's wearing a futuristic thing. Dude, we just figured out the legendary Pokemon. Look at what they're wearing.
Yeah, this was already figured out that it was a past and...
Yeah, but so like I said, the Pokemon just brought in technology. Because she's wearing a barbarian thing. Which I'd like to see what's, underneath there. What's not the clothes. I mean, like, they only show her neck up. Like, where's the rest of the body?
They showed there's art.
Oh, there's art.
Not in the trailer, but like they released it.
Oh, okay.
Sada and Turo trees. Many of the previous Pokemon. It's understandable to expect Sada and Turo might exist as well, but it seems that the ship has sailed for Scarlet and... Oh, this is saying no.
This is saying no what?
And then, so that's the Sada Bahar being the flowering periwinkle is the only thing they found, but nobody's figured out the Turo connection. It's just part of the names of the past and present. I mean, I'm sorry, the past and the future.
Turo has to be a type of wood, no? Isn't it always...
I guess not.
How does it spelt?
Turo. Did
they spell it wrong?
No, and if you do a Google search, you know, there is a place called Turo Park in Barcelona, Spain, but that's the only thing. So it's okay.
So maybe he's not a real professor. Because that's blasphemy. Am I wrong?
There's speculation online that they're the bad guys.
So because they're good looking, I guess in Pokemon all the good looking people are bad guys, right? Because Giovanni was like, oh, I'm like this sexy gangster, and he was the bad guy, right?
I guess.
I don't know. I'm just trying to.
And the real professor is named after a tree. I don't know. Maybe it's just both, you know. I thought it was just going to be like you're going to the school of your, you know, if you're Violet, you're going to the dude's school. So I thought the rival would just be going to the other school. So the bad team would just be the other one, you know, kind of like how Team Aqua and Team Magma, like one was the good guy or the bad guy, depending on which version you were playing, you know?
Right. I
thought it was just going to be the same thing there.
don't know. Do you think that they'd be the bad guy?
I hope not.
I hope not too.
I think they're going to work together in the end.
I feel like if they're the bad guys, then I want to be on the bad guy team.
That's fair.
You know what? Pokemon should let me do, like, after all this time, you should just let me make the choices and just change the end of the game. Like, if I want the evil Pokemon to destroy the universe, let me do that.
You can join Team Rocket.
Yeah.
Take over the world.
Yeah. If these are the people I'm doing it with, yeah, let's do it. This sounds so shallow. Okay, I have one thing I do want to ask.
Yeah.
Now, I didn't notice it till the second time I watched the trailer. So, in this game, there's 3 starters, right?
Mm-hmm.
And somebody always picks, right? You pick, your rival picks the other one, and then some other person gets the third one. But now there's 4 people.
Some, not always.
Not always, but lately they've been doing it sometimes. So not only does somebody else, looks like in the trailer, pick it, but there's a 4th person who has a Pikachu.
Not the Pikachu, it's that region's version of Pikachu.
It's Pikachu.
Talking about the girl you're fighting?
At 54 seconds in the trailer, there's a Pikachu.
Okay. Oh, anyway, go on.
But there's all 3 of them. Like, there's the 3 starters and then someone with a Pikachu. Now, are they just showing that you can play with 4 friends? Or is there something in the storyline where there's, like, for some reason they wanted to have 3 people and a Pikachu?
Yeah, I think they're just showing you with 3 other friends. And instead of repeating one of the starters, they shoved in Pikachu. Because you probably only have one Pokemon follow you.
Okay. Now, I have one other question.
Okay.
What do you think is going to be the secondary legendaries?
Secondary legendaries?
Like there's the 2 big legendaries, then there's like the three birds, you know what I mean? Like there's Mew, Mewtwo, and then you had the birds, and then you have, you know, Regirox and the Regice, you know, whatever. Like, what is going to be the secondary? And do you think it's going to be like similar to how in Gen 1 we had, you know, Articuno, Moltres, and Zapdos, and we also had Flareon, Jolteon, Vaporeon? They had the same 3 types for like the evolutions and the same 3 types for this, like the secondary legendaries. I don't know how else to put it besides like the secondary legendaries, but
you know, like we know this region is based on Spain. I mean, just with many, not just many, but almost any country. I mean, there's all kinds of, you know, myths and legends. I would like to see something from there. I mean, maybe even something like spooky. Like there's like here I did a quick Google search. There's this Spanish myth of El Coco, who's a monstrous creature that eats and kidnaps children. Like if that's not a ghost type Pokemon, then I don't know what is. You know? I would say something like that. You know, even if it was just one of like one-off legendary or one-off mythical Pokemon, or you know, one of the trios if they can figure out something within Spanish mythology. But I would like to see some legendaries based on cool Spanish myths, legends, and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'd be super excited. Do you think they're gonna have anything to do with the evolutions of? Do you think it's gonna have anything to do with the evolutions of the Eevee? The types, just like they did in the first gen? Like they're gonna do ground whatever, or
I don't know, maybe. I want to see more than one Eevee.
I want to see more than one Eevee too. Is
that
the secondary
idea.
legendaries? It's not always 3 or 4, or right? It could be 2 or 1 or.
I think usually there's a legendary trio
Right?
in all of the games, if I'm not mistaken. So it would be cool to see some kind of you have to have a trio.
Yeah,
there's always a
there's
trio.
a trio, right?
Articuno, Moltres, and Zapdos, Entei, Raikou, Suicune. I'm trying to think what it is for
Regirox,
Gen 3.
There's like 5 of them though.
No, that's isn't that Gen 4? Okay, I'm sorry, you were right. Gen 3 is Regice, Regirock, and Registeel. And they're they're ruled by Regigigas. Gen 4 is Gen 4 actually technically has 2, Uxie, Ezloff, and Mesprit. Then technically also Dialga, Palkia, and Giratina. Gen 5 had Cobalion, Terrakion, and Virizion. Gen 6, I guess, is Xerneas, Yveltal, and Zygarde. And Gen 7, Solgaleo, Lunala, and Necrozma. And Gen 8 is Zacian, Zamazenta, and Eternatus. So, based on the recent pattern, there could be a third one just to go with
them too.
The 2 box art legendaries, because that's what it's been over the last few. So instead of so it's going to be a car. You got a motorcycle and a plane. The third one's going to be a car.
Oh, they didn't
have
give
4
us,
wheels.
They haven't been giving us a second set of legendaries? Is that what you're saying? They've just been giving us a third one to the 2?
The third to the 2. Yeah.
That's kind of annoying. I didn't think about that till just now. That's kind of annoying.
That happened in Gen 8, 7, and 6.
Oh.
And technically 5 too, but there was also in Gen 5 and Gen 4 there was an additional trio.
So we're just going to get one other legendary probably after that, outside of this.
Possibly. Well, there should be mythical Pokemon too, and I would like to see a really cool mythical Pokemon based on some kind of Spanish myth or legend.
Yeah, that'd be pretty sick. I'm excited for it. I don't think I have any other questions or anything. Do you have anything?
I don't think so. Or what would ruin this for you?
Oh,
What would just be a cardinal sin? And I'm asking this because I know what it is for me.
what would be a cardinal sin? Man, I don't know. What's gonna ruin it for you?
I saw in the trailer like you could sneak up to Smoliv, and I'm okay with that as if that's how you do the encounter, but I don't want any Arceus type catching or anything like that, or battling or being attacked by Pokemon. Like I want it all just to be turn-based Pokemon battling, and that's it. That's the main series games. Save all that other stuff for Pokemon Legends, Arceus, and whatever spin-offs.
I don't. I mean, catching Pokemon in Arceus, it's usually in Arceus you can only catch the low-level Pokemons that way.
Yeah, but I don't want that.
But to be fair, in a regular Pokemon game, if you run into a Weedle and you don't even attack it and you just throw a Pokeball at it, you're probably catching it anyway.
I don't care.
But you're
I want it
skipping.
turn-based.
You're just skipping the middleman of just okay. Now I'm into a battle. I don't have a problem with that.
Don't care.
I have a problem with it if it's you're taking it and it's like any Pokemon at any level. If I throw like an Ultra Ball or whatever ball at it, no, I want to fight it and weaken it and then catch it. I get that.
No, it's give them an inch and they'll take a mile. Like I need the main series games to stay turn-based, like look what they're doing to Final Fantasy. Like it stopped being turn-based.
But you can make it turn-based in Final Fantasy. You can change the setting and have it turn-based.
It's not the same. It's not the same. This needs to be turn-based. Pokemon already proved that it can transcend genres. Keep these games as the RPGs, the turn-based RPGs. There's room for other ones.
I think there's room for them to do both and just have it there. You can pick a setting. And I think they make enough money off of it that they should do that. If they like, hey, you want to play the game turn-based? Play the game turn-based. But I think there should be an option where you can play the game like they did with the fighting style, the Pokemon Yeah, I know it didn't do good and it was stupid. I get that. But to me, with where technology is and how good video games are, there's no reason like I can't like have my regular Pokemon game and when I get into a fight, I mean I become the Pokemon and have a Pokemon battle like you see in the cartoons instead of it just being like going back and forth. Like I can do something outside of the box thinking and get a strike in with whatever. Or
nope. I will stop playing.
I'm not saying I'm saying it's a option. I'm not saying you have to do it. I'm saying just like in other video games where you can just make it strictly turn-based or change the gameplay, there should be an option for that. You keep shaking your head no. You're just you're so close-minded.
No, I'm not close-minded. Pokemon is such a strong franchise that they can make separate games for stuff.
They can.
That needs to be a separate game. This needs the main series games need
it could be a separate game, but it doesn't
RPGs.
take. I'm sorry, but they don't take that much to make these games. Like they can add that so easily, and it would.
But that's all I want is like just straight stats.
I'm so glad that's all you want. But there's more people in the world than just you.
Well, then those need to be different games. Like that is a deal breaker for me. Like
it should
I will
be a
stop
deal breaker
playing.
for you if it's just an option.
No, I don't. I don't want it. It pollutes it, and it takes away from because they're slow to develop this anyway.
Slow to develop anything.
Yes.
They suck at developing
100%.
things.
I don't want this genre ruined because if they take one step in that direction, then it's all just going to be non-turn-based nonsense.
They probably won't because of that game didn't do good, right? I mean, I think the sales did okay, but there wasn't a longevity to it. I don't know that it still has like a playing base anymore.
It had video game championships too for a while, but the last few championships I watched, I didn't see anything about it. Which is weird because I think they were still playing that Pokemon Go fighting championships, which was kind of stupid. So I was like, anybody can sit there and just tap the screen like that's all you have to do is kind of
Pokemon Go sucks, so that's okay. They ruined Pokemon Go. I don't know how you can say what you just said about what I was saying and then say like, oh yeah, Pokemon Go is great. Pokemon Go is garbage.
It's good for its own game.
They ruined it.
Nope.
No, Pokemon Go had a good thing going until they added raids and you have to have 90 people to fight people. It's just lame now. There should never have been raids.
We were just excited, but you were just excited to play with other people.
Playing with other people in raids
What's the difference?
It's completely different. I don't have to have people. I shouldn't have to have literally like 30 people I don't know to catch a Pokemon that I want to play. I don't want to play with people I don't know. I want to play with a friend or two friends. I just want the option to play a co-op game. And I'm not saying we're both fighting a legendary Pokemon. I'm just saying, like, hey, Blade, you want to go hang out? We're both picking our starters. We're going to pick our starters. Then we're going to go to the first gym leader, and we're going to just, like, see each other battling, like, the first gym leader. And that's just, like, fun and different. Like, it's just kind of cool. Mm-hmm. I don't want to have to play with some random moron and have to, like, deal with, like, it's just, that should never be a thing. Like, don't force me to deal with people. And on top of it, you're making me do it in person. Like, that's even worse. Like, it's bad enough, like, you know, playing video games online with people and not have to deal with people in person. There has to be 20 of them. And then, oh, well, there's only 15 of us. We can't get the legendary. Like, that's ridiculous.
I see your point to an extent. Maybe they should lower the bar so that way you can always have a reasonable amount of people. I think it makes sense to have more than one person there. No,
I just don't think it should have ever been a raid. I think raids are dumb. I just think it's lame. You should have just made it that it's like there's a 0.0001% chance that a Mew's gonna pop up, and if you got one, wow, that's crazy. Not, hey, at 10 o'clock at this place, there's gonna be a Moltres, and then you sit there and you fight and you deal with like 80 people trying to all catch it, and then you don't catch it anyway, and you went through all that for nothing. Now you have to go to some other thing. But sure, you do end up catching one, but like it's just to me, it takes away like how cool it was to catch a legendary. Like, basically everyone's gonna get it, and then you, on top of it, you had to deal with all these people that personally I just don't want to talk to or care about. I don't care if that makes me, you know, whatever. I'm sorry, I'm an introvert and I don't want to deal with people. And I personally just like the, like, oh my gosh, the gamble of finding a legendary. Like, oh my gosh, there's one there. Like, it was so cool in the beginning when it was like, oh, there's a Dragonite nearby, running around the park like a lunatic trying to see where the Dragonite was. Because it was so rare, it's such a hard chance. And then imagine if it was like a Lugia or a Ho-Oh, right? There would have been, it's like, that is to me what the epitome of Pokemon Go was. Not, let's find 80 people and, you know, do all this crazy stuff.
All right, that's a very valid point. And speaking of which, too, is the next Pokemon trading card game set is going to be a Pokemon Go set, and there's a lot of really cool cards that they unleashed so far. So I'm definitely looking forward to that.
What is that?
On the
next Pokemon? It's like, I don't understand. How can a set of Pokemon cards
based on Pokemon Go?
What does that mean? Pokemon Go is based on Pokemon. Like, I don't understand what that means.
It's a Pokemon Go set. So
like the pictures of them are like just where they are in Spain or something, or just like a picture. It's a picture of a Pokemon on like the AR mode. Like, what does that mean?
Like the Blissey card, I think it was like in the Pokemon Go gym. You know,
so it's not going to be like
there's a Pokestop trainer card.
Okay, so it's not going to be like, oh, there's a Pikachu in a Target.
No,
and then Blade's going to be like, I have to have the Pikachu. It's in a Target. It's the only Target Pokemon card.
No, the Pikachu is wearing a Pokemon TCG hat, and there's a crossover event, and you can catch Pikachu in Pokemon Go wearing a Pokemon trading card game hat.
That's another thing that kind of drove me crazy. Like,
because there's way too many.
There's a Pikachu with the party hat. Pikachu, like, just stop. Like, come on, this is ridiculous.
Yeah, I agree. The first one was interesting, and the 15th one was nauseating. Yeah.
It's like
100%.
It's like Pops. You know, they start making metallic. You got the red pop and the metallic pop and the gold pop. Like, just stop.
And the glitter.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, it is. Well, I think that's about all the time we have for this episode. If you play Pokemon, what are you most looking forward to in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, and which version are you getting? I, of course, am getting Violet, and I think I don't even have to ask Lance to know that he is getting Scarlet.
Scarlet all day, baby.
Yeah. Let us know on Facebook and Twitter. We're at Nightcap Chat or Nightcap_chat on Instagram.
And you can catch me on Twitch, Twitter, or Instagram at Tales of Lance, playing video games. I'm going to be playing a lot of Splitgate that, hopefully maybe I get Blade to download at some point. I don't know why he's being so lame. It's an amazing game. I think it's to be the next huge thing. I'm not going to lie. It's a first-person shooter. It's Halo mixed with Portal. It's amazing.
And you can find Ken at Drona Comics at 5801 West Glendale Avenue on the corner of 58th Avenue and Glendale Avenue in downtown Glendale, Arizona. Drona Comics. Everyone's cool, nice and stuff. And you can find Steve at Yakiway Appraisals and his Instagram and stuff about movies. And you can find my stuff at Blade O'Neill. I'm Blade O'Neill on Twitter and Instagram, and Blade O'Neill VO on Facebook. But we appreciate you all taking the time to listen. We love you. Be safe, and we'll catch you all next week.
Have a good week.